Hey, people. Happy Monday, y'all. Welcome in the building. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday. So it's Monday trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about, and the title is called What a Mess. The title is called What a Mess. So this ex-NFL football player, his name is Eric Johnson. You want Rico? Well, speak to Eric. They was doing it all. Trafficking people, part of a notorious gang. He did the most. How do you go from an NFL player to a straight thug? Straight up thug. I'll never understand it. But he pled guilty and he got 20 years. He got to serve 10 behind bars, and then 10 years he'll be free on strict probation. My thing is, how do you go from you an NFL player to you become a straight thug? Or was the thug in you all along and you just happen to play football? We're going to talk about it. But yeah, 10 years behind bars. What a waste. Then you know what? Literally every single trending topics, I can do a story on a teacher gone rogue or a school bus driver that just lost their mind. I tossed up between these two stories today because there was a bus driver literally driving drunk. They pulled her over and gave her a DUI. And the students, you know what? Thank God for the students in their phones. So the other night I was debating in my head. I said, you know what? I don't know about these phones, but y'all told me it's a new day and age, Diva. And I will come back and say, now I agree with y'all. Because if the students didn't have the phones, I may be saying a different story, even though I'm not doing that story tonight. She might have crashed the bus and killed all the students. But because the students had their phone, they was able to call their parents, show their parents. They called 911, and she got pulled over and arrested. But I ain't doing that story tonight because I said I'll do a school bus story another night. We got the whole week. So this one is the assistant teacher, 22, sleeping with the 17-year-old student. Now, listen, Diva 55. So y'all got to help me out because I don't get it and I don't understand it and I can't comprehend it. I can't comprehend people's obsession with sex. So much so, you're supposed to be doing a job. You're a teacher. And you hitting on the student. Female teacher. She saw the little 17-year-old student. Guess she saw something she liked. She let the student know, I'm on Instagram. Check me out. They find each other on Instagram. Out the gate. The teacher starts with the flirty, nasty, disgusting, despicable text to the 17-year-old student. Out the gate. To all the single people out there, and I'm single too, it's a rough world out there because from the moment they meet you, they think about sleeping with you, and I think it's crazy. But let me get back to this woman right here. You a teacher, and you flirting and sleeping with this 17-year-old student. You have got to be dumb, stupid, or both. When you use this device right here, and you going to think you will never get caught. You're a whole fool. You're a whole fool. You put the evidence in writing. So as soon as they call her, what they do, they pulled the boy's cell phone, they pulled hers, and they saw the evidence. She a whole fool. Over what? She left the school premises with this boy, went across the street to his house while his parents was at home at lunchtime and had sex with him more than once. I just maybe somebody on the panel could explain to me, because I don't get it. They know where I'm not pissing where I make my money. That's number one. Number two, I'm not talking to a child. And you think, okay, he's 17, she's 22. She was a teacher. Just like this singer David. The girl 13, you 18. I mean, how stupid can you be? We're going to talk about it. Then we got a teen. Was it a teen? He might have been younger than a teen. I got to check up on the age. I may have to adjust my title. But I think he grade school. He goes to school. And according to the story, somebody else had brought a pow to the school. He sees that somebody else had a pow, and because he's trained or whatever, this ain't high school, y'all, this grade school. He took the pow from the person who brought it. He disarmed it and everything, but he never told authorities in the school until later. So he got suspended. Darn near, I don't know, they suspended him, I don't know for how long. The mother said a whole year, whatever. And no school want to take him. But something in the story just sound a little off to me. But y'all can clean it up for me. Because I'm like, so, because the mother said he was scared to tell the people, the teachers, because he knew that you shouldn't have a pow in the school, and he didn't want to tell on the other kid. Ma'am, mom, you should have taught your kid to snitch. Yeah, so now your kid is out. What happened to this other kid? They don't tell that piece in the story. I'm just confused as to something in the water ain't clean with this story. Because he sound like a hero. But the fact that he didn't tell the teacher, I'm giving the side eye. And now the mother want him back in the school. Something is missing from the story, but we're going to try to dissect this and talk about this tonight here on Trending Topics. Now, listen, I ain't going to hold y'all up. I done spoken up. Y'all know what I need in the chat. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. Hold aboard, everybody. It is Monday night Trending Topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called What a Mess. We got the ex-NFL star, Eric Jackson. He went from NFL to a whole thug, and now he got a 20-year bid. He got to do 10 behind bars and then 10 years on strict probation. What a waste of your life. We got a teacher sleeping with a student. She 22. Now she going to have to register as a sex offender. She a whole fool. All because she couldn't control her sexual desires. And we got the teen suspended. Let me bring the people on in the building. Hey, Julius. Savannah.
Hey, y'all. Hit the like button and please, no craziness before I had to put y'all on timeout. Okay, choo-choo, beep-beep. Bye-bye.
Hey, Katrina. Hey, Callie.
She was crazy.
All right, y'all. You know where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with this NFL player because I really don't get it how you go from the NFL to becoming a whole thug. But let me go ahead and share your screen. Let's see.
A former Atlanta Falcon is now tangled.
Okay.
All right, we got some breaking news to talk about, folks. We have just learned that a former Atlanta Falcon is now tangled in a major human trafficking bust in Gwinnett County that also has ties to some of the biggest gangs in the country. 11 Alive's John Sherrick joins us with that story right now.
It is a 96-count indictment issued by a Gwinnett County grand jury charging 8 people, 7 of them shown here, with trafficking women for sexual servitude, terrorism, kidnapping, aggravated assault, gang activity, racketeering. One of the accused, Eric Johnson. Georgia's Attorney General, the prosecutor in this case, calls Johnson one of the 3 leaders of the so-called Lotto Gang, orchestrating violent crimes with the others. Eric Johnson, a former pro football player. He began his NFL career with the Oakland Raiders in 2000 and in Super Bowl 37 in 2003. Johnson, on defense, recovered a blocked punt and ran for a touchdown. Johnson then played 1 season for the Atlanta Falcons and 1 more for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, just one of the accusations in this indictment against Johnson is that he, along with others in the gang, trafficked an underage teenage girl for sex. The indictment's only the latest in the anti-human trafficking and anti-gang war led by Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr and Governor Brian Kemp, aimed at preventing gangs from recruiting and exploiting children and aimed at rescuing children kidnapped and forced into human trafficking. Since July, 15 indictments across the state targeting 58 defendants so far. In Atlanta, John Schierick, 11 Alive News.
Okay, that's when he got busted. Let me just share screen again. So former NFLer Eric Johnson learns his fate for human trafficking with feared Crips tied gang. So former NFL player Eric Johnson has been sentenced to 20 years in prison for human trafficking and pimping tied to a terrifying game known as Lotto. Johnson, a defensive back who played 6 years in the league, including the 2003 Super Bowl, was one of 9 sentenced for their role in the game, which has ties to National Crips and Gangster Disciples, and whose moniker stands for the last one to take over gang. This is a criminal network that trafficked a child to make money, and we went after all those involved, taking down the gang's leaders, associates, and the entire Lotto operation, Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr said. We're fighting each day to protect our most vulnerable Georgians, and we won't rest until every predator and violent criminal is held accountable. A lot be going on in Georgia. Johnson, now 49, had stints with the Oakland Raiders, Atlanta Falcons, and Arizona Cardinals, with his final season in 2005. He and his 8 other co-defendants were indicted in 2023 following a lengthy investigation after a shooting involving 2 other defendants, Sean Harvey and Sean Curry. The gang was found to have held women against their will through threats of violence and used them to make money to support their members and to purchase weapons. He pleaded guilty to gang, racketeering, and pimping charges and was sentenced to 20 years, with the first 10 to be served in prison. The remainder of his sentence will be served on strict probation. The Nebraska graduate had joined the Oakland Raiders and spent 4 seasons there from 2000 to 2003. He famously returned Tim Johnson's block punt for a touchdown in the Raiders Super Bowl, lost to Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2003. Johnson later suited up with the Atlanta Falcons for a season in 2004, and then the Arizona Cardinals in 2005, his final season. Well, now he's spending his this season coming up 10 years behind bars and 10 years probation. Julius, your thoughts?
Okay, now, case in point. Take notes, New York. That's Rico. Claudette County and Brian Kemp, they did not come to play. They did not speak to the media. They delivered them charges. And what happened? They already have 1 conviction. That's Rico. That's how you do it. You don't let them know your cards until you're ready to reveal it. And he saw the deer in the headlights, how he wasn't going to get out. And that's why he pleaded guilty. And it's crazy. A fall from grace. Someone who had prominence and promise. But, like they say, life works in mysterious ways.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Julia. Savannah, your thoughts?
We've come a long way from the Michael Vick controversy of dogfighting. And it seems that because there's always been problematic and controversial players in the NFL that hid in the NFL, and because they entertain not millions, but I mean billions. The NFL is one of those entities that is just like the Catholic Church. They're the two that own an actual day in the week. They dominate Sunday. There's nobody bigger than Catholic Church and the NFL when it comes to owning our attention, our dollars, our loyalty, and it makes it easier for predators and abusers and violent players to hide because they're masked behind the fan loyalty and commitment of teams and coaches and managerial staff and so on and so forth. I mean, look at Tyreek Hill. We can go back to OJ and Ray Rice, and I mean, the list goes on. Ray Caruth. It goes on and on and on of these NFL players hiding, doing abhorrent things to other human beings. I'm surprised it's just one young lady that they were trafficking.
No, it was more. It was more. It was one
Okay.
really like severely underage that yeah.
Okay. But I think it shouldn't stop with just him. I think that it should, whoever else was involved, the whole gang of them should also be part of this story, because I'm pretty sure there were probably school teachers, coaches, doctors, lawyers. Like, I just don't think they were just pimping this young lady out to someone with $20. I think it was people with money. And just like the next story that we'll be doing tonight about the teachers, I really think there is a sickness going on in our country right now where adults are preying on children, and why. And it doesn't matter whether you're female or male. Um, a lot of the safeguards that and laws that were in place 10 years ago are not in place now. And it's not just because of this administration, it's been others, Democratic as well. But we, the public, have ignored a lot of the safeguards that our children have had in place and now are no longer there, allowing these predators to be around our children. And it's unfortunate. I hope this young lady or young man, whoever was being trafficked out, I'm glad that she's safe, and that I hope that she gets the care, or they get the care that they will need for the rest of their life.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Wayne, your thoughts?
It's so sad to see, young black men who have so much they can offer society
Mm.
and what they wouldn't want for their mama, their child, their niece, their nephew,
Mm-hmm.
but they'll do it to
Mm.
somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Come on, talk.
I just don't know the mind or the heart of somebody like that. If somebody did that to one of their loved ones, their children, whatever, they'd be ready to take them out. But they'll go on, and it's like they're heartless. Either this guy was just caught up and was scared, or just greedy. He's already in the NFL, so he's making a nice piece of change. What more could you want?
Well, his career ended in 2005. So he's 20 years removed.
Okay, I missed that, sorry.
Yeah.
But even still,
Mhm.
I mean, whether it's greed or what or whatever, it's just sad to see that people what they wouldn't want for their family members or their close friends.
Mm-hmm.
They have no heart and would afflict it upon others that are vulnerable. They can't do anything about it, and have to wait till somebody comes to the rescue. I'm only sad thing about this. He only got 10. He got 20, but 10 he gonna be out.
Right.
On supervised probation.
Mm.
You didn't ruin somebody's life. Somebody got to be up in the psychiatrist's office every week trying to get themselves together. That's it.
Thank you. Callie, your thoughts?
Well, after you read some of the affiliations of this gang, I'm pretty sure that this is directly related to, if not the same case as a bust that we had here. These charges sound exactly the same. I'm hearing some of the same names. So what I'm starting to think is that Homeland or FBI, whoever is in charge of this stuff, has decided, like, look, you can't be a pimp no more. We tired of this. We're not dealing with this. It's been going on for decades, and it's just done. You know, here we have a whole like area of Los Angeles where it's like, you know, the scroll, and it's been like that. Sam Cooke was killed there. That's how long this area has been like this, at least since the 60s. There is no possible way you're going to tell me that there is nothing that local government can do to stop this. They just didn't care. So if somebody somewhere has decided, you know what? Yeah, this got to stop. So we're probably going to be hearing some more of these people getting caught up, because I have a feeling that this might be all one big case, or either it's a case connected to a case, because I'm hearing some of the same names. But either way, I just think that, you know, when I used to listen to Dr. Drew, he used to talk about shunning behaviors and why societies, you know, across human history have engaged in shunning people from that society. The problem is we have stopped shunning people, so there's no incentive for them to be a decent person. There's there's no consequence, there's no anything. And so they feel that there's no consequence until they end up behind bars. You should have more of a moral compass than to be involved in something like this. We shouldn't even have to threaten you with going to jail. But see, the thing is, I feel this has been my with the NFL and the entertainment industry as well.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Where you almost don't feel. So in other words, they create sort of like this bubble where it's like the way for you to get in this bubble is to be this messed up person. And that's why we have so many people coming out of the NFL in the entertainment industry. You don't even see it as much in other sports. You see it a little bit, but not as much with this type of like this messed up, deplorable character. Because I think that they're picking people that have a deplorable character and creating an environment where having a deplorable character is the norm. And that's how you fit in that environment, is by being a deplorable person. And then that influences other people to be deplorable. So am I shocked? No. I'm waiting to see who else is going to get picked up in this bus.
Thank you, Callie. Katrina, your thoughts?
Hey, Deep. Hey, Pound. Hey, Chat. That's what the Crips do. They all a part of the substances, um, S trafficking, and unaliving. And it is in Georgia, but it goes all the way around. It's like an organization is what they're doing. And what these girls got to realize, you be on these computers, Facebook, Instagrams, showing your body. Some of them get tricked thinking they finna get a career as a model or doing something else. Then you caught up because, and where's your parents? to let y'all to have that girl that young underage to be out there. Like they sit there, they prey on this. And that's why these girls got to stop itemizing and idolizing these women on the Instagram and all that. Because you end up, you're going to get in a space that you don't want to be in. And for them, like you said, in Atlanta, it's a lot. You have, I don't know if y'all remember him, Strap Delion from Love and Hip Hop. His brother had a case on him for uh, sex trafficking. So Atlanta is a busy little city. It ain't little, but it's a busy city because a lot of stuff be going on in Atlanta. A lot. They high in the AIDS epidemic. It's just ridiculous. But these girls need to sit down. I'm not telling people stay off the computer, but mind what you're doing because people are watching you that you think that's not watching you. And the thing of it is, they can tell, girl, you fine, you do this, you gonna be my girl whatsoever. She thinking she finna meet a guy. Have no idea you finna be caught up in a ring. So mind what you do, watch what you do, and if instead of moving women and moving girls and young women, try moving cattle or try breeding dogs. You'll sleep better at night because when he's doing that 10 years in there, he probably get out a little early. But when you got that 10-year split, something gonna happen. You're gonna do the whole 20. So if I was him, I would have just said, look, just give me what you're gonna give me. Because when they come out with that split, they can do anything. You can't be around nobody with no type of felonies, no knives, no alcohol, no nothing. So when you come out, they come test you or whatsoever, you going back in. You're gonna do that full 20. But like I said, they deserve to be gone. Leave these young girls alone. And these young girls need to stay off these Facebook, Instagram, putting their bodies and stuff out there before they keep coming up missing. But that's all I got.
I appreciate you, Katrina. It's like when something can happen. Unfortunately, I feel like these young girls, they're going to do what they want to do. And it's very sad. And the reason why I'm saying that, if I'm going to go to that singer, David, this particular case. So they said the girl ran away from home several times and the cops brought her back home. But apparently she kept going back to this man's house and back to him. I don't know the answer to these things because it's crazy. And now, unfortunately, what happened to her is extremely sad. But what happened to these girls that end up in these rings is extremely sad also. But I think it's a mixture, and it starts like what you said, Katrina, because apparently Celeste met David online. So the answer is, I guess limit the social media time. If they're under a certain age, when the nighttime falls, all the cell phones have to go in the room with mommy and daddy, or just mommy, whoever the adult is in the household. All the cell phones come in this room. We cutting it off. That's it. It's too much. A lot is going on in these streets these days, and these kids aren't safe. And speaking of kids not being safe, let's go right into this teacher sleeping with the student story. So let me share a screen. I hope I didn't. Oh, here it is. Okay, I had to find my little story. So, female aide at New York City High School fired for having lunchtime sex with student, and they're probing into another aide also with some misbehavior. So New York City High School devolved into a deprived den of deviance, according to city investigators, who found that one aide had sex with a student at least 3 times during lunch period, and are probing a second staffer for similarly twisted interaction with a pupil. Community associate Ocean Valentine, then 22, first approached a 17-year-old student at the Urban Assembly Early College High School of Emergency Medicine in Manhattan in May 2022, telling him she was active on Instagram. according to a newly released report by the Special Commissioner of Investigation for the New York City Schools. The student found Valentine's Instagram profile, and the two began exchanging messages through the platform. Before long, though, she shared her phone number and they started texting each other, investigators found. The boy told investigators their text messages became sexual soon after she gave the teen her number in late May or early June 2022, according to the SCI report. The teen told investigators he had intercourse with the aide in his parents' apartment one afternoon during lunchtime after ducking out of the 297 student school on Pearl Street near the NYPD headquarters. He and Valentine left during lunch while school was still in session to engage in sexual intercourse. They walked across the street from the school to the student's apartment. After this initial encounter, the student recalled that twice more they left during lunch period to have intercourse, the report says. One of those other encounters was inside a private room at Sharks, a pool hall, where they had gone to celebrate the student's 18th birthday, investigators allege. That's her. That's her. The misconduct came to light after a female classmate of the teen said she accidentally saw some of the text on the boy's phone. She also said she saw a photo of a hotel receipt in one of the text messages. The female student apparently blurted out something about staff members having sex with students within earshot of an official at the school. Soon after, the female student told the official which staffer he was referencing, the report says. As investigators conducted their probe in early 2023 and were taking pictures of text messages on the students' phones, he received a message from Valentine asking, "What's going on?" the report says. 10 days later, the teen told investigators Valentine was trying to contact him. He provided screenshots of his missed calls, which showed two calls at 10:07 p.m. and 10:08 p.m. from Ocean. Investigators confirmed the calls after obtaining Valentine's phone records. A search found 34 contacts between Valentine and the student, including 6 calls after 7 p.m. and 6 on weekends. Valentine was suspended without pay. She had a city salary of $34,415 in 2023, but took home $15,250 before her dismissal by the City Department of Education. In another case at the school, the Post confirmed that a male aide is also the subject of an ongoing SCI probe for alleged sexual contact with a female pupil who also accused the aide of stealing $5,000 from her. No other details were available as the report is pending. In Valentine's case, SCI Anastasia Coleman recommended an update to the Department of Education social media policy to bar employees from contacting students on such accounts and on personal cell phones. Coleman has made this recommendation dozens of times in recent years, but the Department of Education has yet to amend the policy. Valentine could not be reached for a comment. Ensuring the safety and well-being, this is their standard thing, these schools. Ensuring the safety and well-being of our students is our highest priority, reads the DOE statement to the Post. That's why New York City Public Schools social media policy makes clear that staff should not communicate with currently enrolled students on their personal social media sites and should avoid using personal contact information, including cell phone numbers and private messaging apps, to communicate with students. We take these standards seriously, and we expect all employees to uphold the highest level of professionalism in their interactions with the students. This girl, she's done. Julius, your thoughts?
Lock her tail up.
Mm-hmm.
If the men get locked up, lock her tail up too. In this, the sexes are equal. That's what Penguin said in Batman Returns. Lock her tail up. That's it.
Thank you, Savannah. Your thoughts?
Again, I think there is a pandemic of adults preying on our children. What I gathered from your story, that the school district hasn't updated or changed their policy as of yet, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Mm-hmm.
So I think that this needs to go beyond the traditional means, because these stories are becoming more and more frequent. The ages of the students have varied from high school all the way down to elementary. This is more than just Mary. I think it was Mary Kay Letourneau, I think her name was. But they need to go beyond. When you screen in for educators or even aides, anybody that's around our children, I don't care if it's a school bus driver, a safety guard, what are the crossing road guards and stuff, they need to go beyond the traditional fingerprint check. I think they need to go through their social media accounts. They need to see if there's a history of them or a footprint of them, like, going to the bars. Are they hanging out constantly with children? Or I would say go beyond the measures, because what we're doing now is not working. It absolutely isn't working. I haven't heard of any school district implement any type of new training for staffs on how they interact with students. And there should be, because I know my grandbaby's elementary, they're only allowed to communicate with the students or the parents through a approved channel that is monitored by the school system. So anything outside of that, um, they if they find any infraction on where the teacher uses their personal cell phone, they should immediately be dismissed. So there's a lot of work that could be done here, um, of improving how we our educators um, protect our children, and we're failing. We are absolutely failing. Um, and another thing, there's a party in these stories that's being missed, and that's the parents. Where are the parents? We should be in the schools, and we're not.
Yeah, I agree with you, Savannah. What are your thoughts?
You know, this is what you call a menace to society. Now, parents that have young men that's developed, maybe a few beyond their years, looks real good. They got to worry about when they go to school, the teachers. This reminds me, so going back to one other stories we did about the teacher that dresses very,
Provocative.
provocative. Now, even though she says she's within standards and all that, don't you think that's selfish to say, I mean, and wear provocative clothes like that? And see how this woman got caught up with this young, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Why even put your students in that kind of situation, possible situation?
Right.
I mean, would you go to church like that? You know, I mean, yeah, you could say, well, I'm dressed right. They shouldn't be looking. But why even put people in those positions? They have to cause, So she needs to get processed just like the rest of them. Should be labeled as a pedo the rest of her life. And I'm quite sure this was a bright woman, a lot that she could have offered to society. And now if she wants, she's got to do it behind bars now. That's it.
Thank you. Callie, your thoughts?
Yeah, put her in jail. The problem is, I hear this story all the time. They don't give them very much time. The only thing she's going to lose is this little teaching career, which she probably really didn't want anyway. It sounds like she was just there to try to relive her high school days or some other sick fantasy. This is ridiculous. I don't know why this keeps happening, but I do know that there needs to be some type of screening process with these teachers. And let's just be honest, it's happening more with the female teachers than the male teachers.
Oh, it is though, ain't it? Oh.
Yeah. So there needs to be something when they get this teacher's license, some type of psychiatric training or something that they have to go through. Because I understand that there's, not a lot of people that want to be teachers. And I think that's one reason why they're not doing a whole lot, because it's ineffectively always a teacher shortage. But this ain't working. This is ridiculous. Maybe if they start giving them real time, like not like no 6 months and you lose your license, like 15, 20 years time, because this is almost every other day. Yeah, but I don't feel anything for her. I don't understand why anyone in their right mind would want to do something like this. So that lets me know that she's sick, because there's no, what are you doing this for?
Yeah. Thank you, Callie. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, Diva. You said this happened in New York? Well, the age of consent is 17 in New York. So she might not see not one side of a jail cell.
She may be well, because it happened on school property, and she
took him across the street, remember?
No, but she took him out of the school, Katrina.
But 17, they can sign themselves out. Well, I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm just saying that she might and then she might not. Because even though, because he walked across the street. I mean, he had to sign himself out in order to leave. But either or, it's still a problem. It's definitely a problem. Whether I'm like I said, when I seen the age of consent, it says 17. But the thing of it is, it's still a problem. You still messing with a teenager. Now flip the script. If that was a guy doing it, they would want him arrested. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen with this case. And like everybody was saying, the teachers are there, but basically, these teachers are not getting any type of respect because they've taken discipline out of the schools. And these kids these days, they come in telling you what they're going to do instead of the teachers telling them what they're going to do. And it's ridiculous. I mean, the teacher has nothing to stand on. If they paddle a child, they lose their license. If they try to reprimand a child, they lose their license. And that's a lot of schooling to lose your license. But like everybody said, you need to take a course on how to, that should be included in your courses when you go into school for education. But right now, the teacher doesn't care because they underpaid, they overworked, and they make less than a police officer or something like that. But these are people that are teaching your children. So I think they should get the highest level of pay, and maybe you'll have better teachers because they're not getting that much pay, and they dealing with somebody's child that probably rude, disorderly, bad behavior, and everything. And that's a lot to take on when you're trying to teach other students. So maybe they need to up these teacher pay grade so they can come in and do what they need to do. Because if you're not paying them teachers the right way, they don't care. You got some that care. You don't get me wrong. You got some that care, and half of the teachers about the same age as the students. But they need to set down guide rules because it's never going to change. They've been doing this stuff forever. Mary Kay Letourneau, how long that been? What, 30 some years, and it's still going on? Girl, please, they need to do better. But that's all I got.
Right. I mean, I don't think this low pay has anything to do with your integrity. I know people that work on low paying jobs and they're not sleeping with people and acting a fool and being crazy. The girl, she's sick. And if you want to date a 17-year-old, it shouldn't have been a 17-year-old on your job. I don't like this. It's messy. I think it had nothing to do with the pay. I think she was in that school and she was still in like a childhood mindset and she saw this boy, she liked them, and she took advantage. At the end of the day, point blank period, when you have a job and you are over somebody in that job, you are the authoritative figure. She's disgusting. And then you took that boy across the street to his parents' house and laid up in that bed with him. She lucky them parents didn't come home and catch her. Callie, before I go to 48, did you want to say something else?
Oh, no, sorry.
Okay, no, you're fine. 48?
Hey, Diva,
Hey.
panel and chat. Okay, so I agree with everybody, but I'm really like agreeing with Callie as far as like the punishments. I feel like it just needs to be stricter punishments, sort of like Singapore and Malaysia. You know, they don't do like public flogging and beating, but I think with certain crimes, they should have like harsher punishments. And like Callie said, it's and Wayne, you know, it's happening so much. We're becoming kind of desensitized to it, like, oh, it's another like we don't need to be in that kind of state of mind. And like Katrina said, we do need to pay teachers more, but like you said, Diva, I don't think it had anything to do with her pay. She's just a freakazoid and she needs her ass beat. And like you said, I was wondering if the parents were mad or were gonna do anything. Do you know if they're gonna press charges or anything like that?
I don't know. I'm going to stay connected to this story because at the end of the day, I do think that they need harsher punishment on these teachers so this could stop happening. You, first of all, as parents, we worry enough. And when your kid is of school age, you get some type of comfort thinking, okay, well, at least from 9 or whatever, they're in school, right? And to now not even have the comfort of them being in school, that's why I'm kind of leaning back. I do feel that all of these kids need a cell phone now because so much stuff is going on in these schools, and you need to tell, be able to tell your parents maybe in real time that XYZ is happening. Now, I will say this. I think the boy that slipped up and said something, I think it was pitched really that the teacher wasn't sleeping with him. But whatever, it got out and the teacher got in trouble. But I don't think he told out of concern that, oh, the teachers are sleeping with the students. I think he was pissed that his friend was getting something from the teacher and he was not. And that's why he told. So it's just, but to know that you could send your kid to school and can't even trust the teacher. And then a lot of these teachers are taking advantage of, the innocent minds and all of that. It's just not fair. It's not fair to the parents. It's not fair to the kids. And it's definitely not fair to those kids that end up, the teacher, when it's a female, ends up getting pregnant. And now they become a father by somebody that pretty much are them. Men matter too. And the reason why I'm going to say men matter too is because, even though I'm about to roll into this last story, you have that Sha'Carri, what's her name? Sha'Carri, the runner, the athlete. She's in the Nike commercial. They didn't pull her back. They didn't pull her out of the Nike ad. But yet the other day, she put her hands on the boyfriend. So if that was a man that put his hands on a female and they were still running his ad, the world would be in chaos. It would be uproar. The reason why we can't get nothing right in this world, because we don't care about, thank you, Sha'Carri Richardson. Thank you, Increase Matter. We don't care about justice. We only care about justice if we don't like the person. If we like the person, all kind of excuses are made for the crimes they commit. But when we don't like the person, they can have committed a crime and we want them to see death, roll up under the jail and all of that. The world we got is so twisted. And it's not that I want her to lose her campaign money, her Nike money, or her Nike ad, but it's just not right. What are we saying to the world? It's okay for you to beat on a man, but if a man beats on a woman, then chaos is all hell is gonna break loose. She clearly put her hands on that man. And now, what do we see? Her Skims Nike ad. She look cute and then she in tip-top shape, but it don't matter. It's just wrong. And when you know what, I think whether you're a child or adult, when you don't suffer consequences for your wrongdoing, you learn 0 lessons. 0. I'm gonna roll into this last story with this teen that got suspended. And like I said, there's some side eye going on here. I gotta still let this marinate and figure things out, but maybe y'all will have it quicker than I. Let's take a listen.
A Lansing parent is doing everything she can to get her son back in school after he was expelled for doing something she believes was heroic. Good evening, I'm Ann Emmerich. Savitra McClurkin says her son is being punished after disarming a classmate's gun at Dwight Rich School of the Arts. He took the gun apart and threw away the bullets, but didn't tell an adult until later. News 10's Amaya Kaznicki joins us live with what's next for this student.
And McClurkin says she's been trying to get in contact with the Lansing School District for quite some time, but isn't getting any response. In search for answers, she made an appearance at tonight's meeting of the Lansing School Board, asking them face to face why her son can't return to school.
What am I to do? He's 11 years old, 7th grade, never been in trouble before.
A Lansing mom is pleading for her son to be reinstated in school after she says he was expelled for possession of a weapon.
They kicked him out of school for the whole year. Online schools are honoring their decision, nor did they provide us a different resource or a different avenue to go.
Savitra McClurkin says her son is being punished for disarming and dismantling a gun that another student brought to the Dwight Rich School of the Arts back in May, and for not speaking up about it right away.
He didn't want to implicate himself in it, nor did he want to tell on the person that actually brought the firearm. Because he knows firearms aren't supposed to be in school.
He was able to disarm and disassemble the gun because of his hunting background. McClurkin says in the moment, her son was scared and thought he was helping the other students around him.
It's devastating because he's a bright kid, and all he wants to do is be a kid. And as a parent, I feel like I may be more devastated than him.
At Thursday night's board meeting, the Lansing School District declined to comment on the issue, even after McClurkin took the stand during public comment.
They are setting my child up for failure. They're setting him up to be a statistic. And I've been doing everything in my will and my power to keep him from that. After 180 days, they may or may not reinstate him. So then what?
Right now, McClurkin says her son has been doing online school, but it's not an accredited program. It's meant to help him stay on track while he's at home. Ann, back to you.
All right, Amaya, thank you. To prevent something like this from happening again, the district installed metal detectors and uses handheld wands on all students as they enter Dwight Rich. Here's a time lapse.
All right, let me give a little bit more information. Hold on one second. Let me share screen. So Michigan student 11 is expelled after taking a pow away from classmates to prevent unimaginable tragedy. A Michigan middle schooler courageously disarmed a gun-carrying classmate, but was expelled when failed to alert a teacher immediately, his furious mother claimed. Shakar, 7th grader at the Dwight Rich School of the Arts, allegedly spotted his classmate carrying the pow during the school day and jumped into action to protect his peers, according to reports. Shakar's instinct was not to run away. It was to protect his classmates, according to a GoFundMe set up for the young student and his family, preventing what could have been an unimaginable tragedy. However, Eric was accused of possession of a weapon and banned from the middle school. I don't know, where's this other student? This is the part that's killing me with this. They kicked him out of school for the whole year, the boy's mother said to the news. The heroic 11-year-old's actions unfolded back in May, but he didn't tell his teachers out of fear of getting in trouble. It was not clear when he received the punishment. He didn't want to implicate himself in it, nor did he want to tell on the person that actually brought the pow pow, his mother said, because he knows firearms aren't supposed to be in school. Eric credited his hunting background for his knowledge of safety taking the pow pow part. Shakur is an AB student and is active in sports to the public at the public magnet school, according to the crowdfunding page. The frustrated mother blasted the Lansing School District for kicking her son out of school. They are setting my son up for failure. They're setting him up to be a statistic. And I've been doing everything in my will and my power to keep him from that, she said. Eric is now enrolled in a non-accredited online program to keep him on track in the curriculum until his educational future is decided. Online schools are honoring the school district decision, nor did they provide us a different resource or a different avenue to go to, his mother said. It's devastating because he's a bright kid and all he wants to do is be a kid, she added. As a parent, I feel like I may be more devastated than him. The mother pleaded for her son's reinstatement at a recent board meeting, but the members didn't respond to the angered mother. What am I to do? He's 11 years old, in 7th grade, never been in trouble before, she questioned the school board during a recent meeting. Community members united behind McLaren's pleas for help because her life was upended by the shock decision. Instead of being recognized as a hero, he is now being treated like a criminal. He has been expelled and barred from all school platforms, according to the GoFundMe page, which was organized on behalf of McLaren. Because of this sudden expulsion, Shakar's mother has had to take on the enormous challenge of educating him at home. This has forced her to cut back on work, creating serious financial strain on their household, the fundraisers organizer wrote. Shakur acted out of bravery and love for his classmates. Let's show him the same love now, the GoFundMe petition. The school district will decide after the school year on whether to reinstate Eric into the school. It was not known if the student who brought the pow pow into the school faced any punishments. I'm sorry, my son would have to tell. Darn that. Julius, your thoughts?
I would have told like a canary. I would have said, this is what I did. I saved everybody's life up in here. But this is why people don't even tell when you do the right thing to protect other people. Because the people who do the right thing, they end up getting burned at the end of the day. And they don't say at all, as I was listening to you read the article, they not once said what happened to the child who brought the weapon.
Well, he was. Let me just update you a little more, because I found another article. Because the other boy was 12 and he was arrested. So let me just. So if they know that is true, his story is true, why are they still punishing him? So fighting back, boy 11 is expelled despite heroic actions when he disarmed classmate who brought the pow pow to school and threw away the bullets. Lansing School District officials say the decision was unavoidable. An 11-year-old boy has been expelled from the school after taking a pow pow from a classmate and pulling it apart in what his mom calls an act of courage. The shocking punishment has sparked outrage with his mother, insisting her son should be seen as a hero, not a criminal. So hold on one second. The case unfolded in May at the Wright Ridge School in Lansing, Michigan. The preteen allegedly spotted another student with a firearm inside the building and stepped in before a tragedy could strike. Using skills he learned from hunting, the 7th grader reportedly managed to disarm the classmate, dismantle the weapon, and dump the bullets. But when school officials learned he had handled who's somebody is noise from somebody.
Oh, that's me.
Okay. But when the school officials learned he handed the pow pow he had handled the pow pow, the boy was expelled under Michigan's strict laws on weapons in schools. He's 11 years old, 7th grade, never been any trouble before. His mom, Shavarta McClurkin, told the news. She said her son was acting out of fear for his classmates and classmate safety and thought he was helping. It's devastating because he's a bright kid and all he wants to do is be a kid, she added. The mother admitted her son did not alert adults right away, explaining that he was scared and did not want to get the other boy in trouble. He didn't want to implicate himself in it, nor did he want to tell on the person that actually brought the firearm, she said. Back in May, police confirmed a disassembled, unloaded pow was recovered from the school, and the 12-year-old boy was arrested. His name has not been released. The mom has since appeared at a Lansing school board meeting demanding answers after weeks of silence from the district. I'm frustrated. I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what to do, she told the news. A GoFundMe launched by the family friends claims the boy's first instinct was not to run away. It was to protect the classmates. The page says that instead of being recognized as a hero, he is now being treated as a criminal. The fundraiser adds that the sudden expulsion from school, and we kind of read that. So pretty much, I think the rest is saying the same thing we already know. I just wanted to add that the 12-year-old did get arrested. I feel better now. Julius, your thoughts?
I feel better that he's been arrested.
Mm-hmm.
The young man, even though I felt like he should have said something,
mm-hmm.
but he thought he was protecting not just himself, not just his schoolmates, but the staff from a tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be frank, I think the district is embarrassed that a tragedy did not happen. And now they're saving face because one of their own students who knew how to disassemble the pow and throw away, the rounds, prevented all of it. Now, I know I may sound petty, but they have no reason to continue punishing this kid. He needs to be able to come back to school.
Thank you, Julius. Savannah, your thoughts?
I'm going to disagree completely. I might be on the train alone tonight. I looked it up while you were reading, and thank you for giving us part 2 of that story, because that's where I did have questions about who the second student, the original student that brought the object into the school building. But I looked it up. Since 2020, since the pandemic, Michigan has had 104 mass incidents where objects were involved. And they are the 27th state leading in student injuries when it comes to objects by other students, whether it's on state property, whether it's schools, rec centers, playgrounds. They are the 27th, and the study was done in 2023. If this young man took possession of the object, the right thing to do was go tell an adult, whether it was a coach, a teacher, a nurse, even a parent. And so I agree with the punishment that he's going through right now. I don't believe that he's innocent here, because he should have immediately reported it to an adult. If he's an A student, he should have known better. At least tell your parents when you got home. I'm assuming that he kept the object, or he threw it away, or what did he put it in a locker? What did he do?
Well, they later
where's the object?
school. Yeah, this thing is sketchy. Yeah.
Yeah, there's too many holes in the story, and I think the punishment is correct. There's other ways and means of getting an education for right now. Whether it's homeschooling, and again, parents, we need to be involved. I know our life is crazy and life be life, and trust me, I know. My mom wasn't in my school, involved in my school that much either. She worked two jobs. But right now, it's very critical with our students being, they're not safe. And we send them to these buildings for 8 to 10 hours a day with straight, and the vetting process is not the best. And then we have other kids that bring things into the school. And so we just need to be present. It doesn't mean that you have to be there every day, but I make sure that I got field day next week. I know who my grandbabies RSOs are, and their teachers and assistant principals. I have to, for my sanity and peace of mind, I need to be involved, and I think we need to do a better job. And I think his mom should have been more involved as well. So I think he's got the right punishment because he really didn't do anything heroic. He took the gun, but he should have reported it. I think he should have known better.
Yeah. But so how do you punish a person if their kid skips school, but now your punishment is this kid can't be in no school? I don't know. Something it got to be a better answer.
But there's alternative schools. There's also even homeschooling. I know the libraries do the
Homeschool,
alternative.
it says in the article that the homeschool is honoring the suspension of the regular school. So he's in an online unaccredited program. I don't know this. And does he belong, unless we're missing something to this story, right? Does he belong in an alternative school? I don't know. So see, 1 minute we want to say that kids' brain don't develop until XYZ age, but we're charging this kid for not thinking as an adult and thinking as a kid to say, I don't want to snitch. I'm in the middle of the road with this, but I don't know. Wayne, your thoughts?
You know, what if this boy, this little kid, sees that the other kid has the weapon, and he takes the time to go tell another teacher, and the little kid with the weapon then took out a few other little kids? Even though this was a boy, a young child, he knew that that gun had to be disarmed. And he did that, so the threat was gone. Did he think, like you said, like an adult, I need to do this? I think and hope this GoFundMe, I hope this woman gets enough money she can move away from wherever for a better life, better school for a child. Because even though we believe that the young man did the right thing, okay, maybe not all, but this is their system and this is their punishment. But my thing is that I can't pass the punishment and say he got the right punishment when I think he did the right thing. Maybe it wasn't always right. This could have been just some counseling through the schools as to what you do. Why would you take away this young man's education? And you're going to fix it that can't nobody teach you anything accredited? It's ridiculous. So I'd like to see that clap back, that she blow the GoFundMe up and do better for her child and herself. We do GoFundMes for all kind of stuff. And if this story is correct, and this is an all-known woman, she's trying to do the right thing, she's working, and yeah, I can see where she could lose time from work. Now you have a kid in school that has to be home, and you have to take off some days. That's just unbelievable to me. That you're gonna take a whole year from a child, and then to make it even worse, no matter what you do, is not going to be accredited for anything. What's the purpose of that? Nobody got hurt. Unless there's more to the story, it's ridiculous. But since you have to play by their rules, I hope the clapback is that she gets so much money, it'll make their heads swim. I'm done.
Yeah. Callie, your thoughts?
This is what happens when you have rules that are very rigid and they're not flexible for any type of edge case. Like, I'm sure when they created this rule, they never thought about something like this. I think where they're coming from is because, yeah, you probably should have taken it away from him, but you should have reported that he had it because this person is still a danger. You know, and there's so much stuff happening with, unfortunately, people going into these schools and doing things that if someone brings a pow onto school grounds, everyone, students, teachers, whoever, is obligated to report it. Otherwise, they can't have you there if you're not going to report it because it's too dangerous. And I think that, you know, it's harsh because this is a kid and he's thinking like a kid. He's not even thinking about that stuff. But I feel like that's where they're coming from. I don't think that they're coming from like, oh, you should have just let him just have it and just left him by himself. And by the time you get back from telling somebody, he could have unalived someone. I think they're saying like, you should have reported this, if I'm understanding correctly. You know, regardless if you took it away from him or not, you should have reported this. It's probably just their rules, and it probably would have happened if it was a teacher who did it. Because I think they just don't know what to do because there's so many wackadoos going around doing stuff at these schools. Yeah, hopefully. Well, how long was the suspension for?
It's the mother said 180 days for right now, because after 180 days, they're going to make a decision. But in the meantime, though, then they should assign. I know when kids get sick sometimes, like if they break a leg or something like that and they can't go to school, they still give the kid all the assignments and they kind of assign the kid like a tutor or something so that they could keep him up. So I think they should have assigned him a tutor and he had to do everything at home and still get all the same work and have all the same tests up until they make the decision. This to me is egregious.
This is crazy.
He's being punished. Yeah. He's trying to tell me that he was part of doing this with this kid, but he couldn't have been because the 12-year-old got arrested and he did not. This is cruel and unusual punishment. This is not right. Katrina, your thoughts?
Okay. Who reported the pow?
He eventually told, but he told like much later and after the fact.
Okay. Now I can see him disarming it, you know, and taking the ammunition away. And then, but you know how kids are. People have labeled snitches as a bad thing now. And by him protecting and doing that, I would think they would probably should have gave him like a 3-day suspension, or maybe go to alternative school. But this is not my pow. And I don't know where he disarmed it at. Did he disarm it in a classroom or somewhere that they feel like he could have harmed his own self by doing this? You know, one could have been in the chamber and he was doing so and it could have went off or something like that, because that's the only thing that I'm trying to pick up from. Because other than that, it's not his. He was disarming it and letting y'all know, if you know he didn't report it right then and there, he still came out and reported it. And nobody was harmed because he took the thing away. So I'm thinking like, Maybe they should have just gave him 3 days or sent him to alternative school. But to stop him from going to school for the rest of the year, now that's crazy. Even though his hands was on the pow pow, but it wasn't mine. That's no different than the child um, that took his dad's, I think, to the school or whatsoever. But what I'm saying is, this child disarmed it, and nobody got hurt. Thank God. I would say you should have never put your hand on this. So I'm just going to suspend you for 3 days, or I'll send you to alternative school. Therefore, you can catch up on your work. Because going to a school that is not credited, he's not going to even be able to go to the next grade because it's not going to count. And even if she move out that district, his school record's going to go with him wherever he goes, and they're not going to let him in the school until they complete this investigation. This is sad on so many levels. I hope what he did was heroic and nothing else is involved in it. Because based on what we hearing, I would give him 3 days suspension or return to school. I would not stop him from learning for a whole year unless we don't know something else. But that's my thing. That's what I would have done. That's all I got.
Yeah, a lot of things could have went left. Why he was disarming this, right? He could have been disarming it and somebody could have accidentally got hurt. He could have hurt himself. He could have ended up hurting the 12-year-old that brought it in. This whole thing is it has a lot of moving parts, but I still am going to lean on the punishment is extremely harsh. 48, your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that the punishment is too much. And I also think that with his knowledge of like hunting, then he should have had the common sense to immediately report it. That's just in my opinion. But I don't think that he needs to go to get any kind of punishment, to be honest, like other than maybe a in-school suspension for a day, but if this kid like disarmed the kid, and nobody got hurt, I think he did more of a favor for everyone than an injustice or a disservice to anybody in that school. And it is important for young people, people just in general, to know how to hunt, and capture their own food. I've seen in the comments where some people think that it's too young. It's definitely not too young to learn how to handle a firearm. It's just the preference of, the kid's parent. If you are a hunting person, then you want to teach your kids how to do that, handle a firearm properly. But I don't think that he does. Just to me, Diva, I don't think that he deserves a punishment. It's almost like that situation with the lady that pushed the old lady off the bus. Nobody wants to step in, but then when you do step in, you can still get in trouble.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, he's damned if he did and damned if he didn't, in a really bad way if he didn't. But yeah, I hope the young man gets back in school, because it makes absolutely no sense. They've taken school powers to Burger King. They praise this Second Amendment so much. You know what I'm saying? So that's it, Diva. That's all I got.
Yeah, no, I'm with you because this one is it's a tough one, right? Because so many things could have went left, and I get that. And I think the lesson could have been to him is, listen, so many things could have got left. I will keep us posted on this case. Thank you, Lindsay. I definitely will. So many things could have went left, but it didn't. And he was wrong, but also there is a big fear. There's a fear with adults on telling on people. So why wouldn't you know and understand that there's a fear in the child on telling on his fellow student, who I'm taking a wild guess that the student was probably his friend. I'm really taking that wild guess, because for the student to even not kind of fight back as this was taken away from him and said, no, give me back my pal, whatever. I'm taking it that they were friends, and he was like, yo, don't do that. And he took it from him. he disabled it, and he figured, you know what, whatever, I stopped the situation. But now here he is. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too, Diva. Just the kind of temperament you have to disarm somebody. Grown people go to Quantico to learn how to do that. So for him to know how to do that with a peer his age, dealing with what these kids deal with at school, it says a lot. I just hope the young man get back in school, and they need to give him some money too.
They do. You know what though? I would say with this mother, and see the other thing is people don't understand and respect how hard it is being a single parent, right? So you can't be everywhere. This society, they get on you if you have social services and you collecting the SNAP and all this other stuff, and you got the Section 8 or whatever, right? But then they get on you if you work too much and you're a single parent, because then they be like, well, where are you and why was your kids home alone and all this other stuff. Well, something got to give. I can't be everywhere. I can't go work the 40 hours and be at my child's school during school day hours and then pick them up at 3 o'clock and work don't end to 5 o'clock. I'm very fortunate. I only got one son, but the village helped me tremendously. I had to worry about nothing. I used to work 12-hour shifts in the hospital. My son was fine with his dad or with the grandparents, but always good. I never had to worry about anything. And I thank God, to God be the glory. But that is not everybody's story. It is not easy being a single parent and you trying to work and make a better life for you and your kid. So now she got the kid home. Well, she can't go to work because now she go to work while the kid is home. They're going to call her all kind of other names too. What is she supposed to do? This is just this.
Oh, she got a mama or somebody. And women always have to bear the burden of raising children. And men, they can go and do whatever they need to go and do what they want to do. Because we did not see a man come in there talking with her about her child. It was just her trying to defend her child. And for them to do her that way, and like you said, if she can't go to work because she got to take care of the child. So are y'all gonna give her food stamps? Are you gonna give her supplemental income? So what you gonna do? I mean, come on. The lady got to make a living. The child still got to eat. The child still got to take a bath. Still got to go to sleep. Lights, heat, whatever they staying in, still got to be on. So how she's gonna have a way to do that when y'all put this child out of school for disassembling? Because I'm not saying disarm, but disassembling a pow, so nobody else will get hurt. This is crazy, unbelievable. But we'll see how it go. This is stupid.
Yes.
Steve, now if that young man hadn't said anything, they would have just found pieces of a weapon all over the place. Would they would have tracked it back to the school? Probably not.
They found it on school premises, though. They found it on school premises. You know what? Either way, it needed to come out, because now this 12-year-old, because we needed this 12-year-old out of the school system, right? Because obviously they and where did the 12-year-old get this pow from? So this 12-year-old needed to be out of the system, but it's just the way that they're handling this. And I get y'all got rules. It's a zero tolerance policy, but yo, come on. And then again, then you need to add to that policy, how do you handle the child when this happens? You just going to tell a child, we banning you from all schools? It just don't make no sense. It's not right. But anyway, guys, I'm going to stay connected to this story. I will let y'all know any updates. Now, I heard with the Rebecca Meeks that somebody got arrested, but I can't find anything about it online. We'll keep you posted on that story too. And Eric Johnson, at least he behind bars for 10 years, but God beware when he get out. And I don't know what the other defendants are going to get. And then the last crazy piece is, I'm going to stay connected to this 22-year-old in sleeping with the 17-year-old student. She's just nasty. You going to his parents' house, just nasty. You taking this boy out of school, and she had no right to be taking him off the premises. Anyway, guys, chat with me, and she knows she wrong, because when she found out they was investigating, she tried to call him to say what's going on. What's going on, boo boo? Get ready to get cleaned up. Anyway, guys, chat with me. I'll chat back. Don't forget, if you didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.
Choo choo.